Ra say about the airplane mode? I don't get it.
What?
What do you say about the airplane mode? To play?
Airplane mode shuts off like the cell phone service.
Yeah.
So if somebody calls you now, it will shut off.
Okay, so
It will knock out the voice.
you put it on it? You put it on it? You put it
You want me to do it? But no one can call you, but then I'll be fine. Just turn this on. My favorite song of all time. Oh, lights
Yontiv la BaOmer. The covered for the Tana, Heluki for Rabbi Shimon. But the Yashakar to the Chaver from the Shul, from his Kodesh, and the Chaver over here and in Israel, making the arrangements and taking care of all the sponsors, all those who are in need of refuahs and yeshuas. The Chol HaInyonim should have in the schus of the tzaddik, before Shleim B'Sar Sharach Al Yisrael. To thank Yedidai, I've been doing this very long time. Somebody said 10 years. The Eitan Nochi and Avi. We should be Zaychem Hashem to continue in Yerushalayim. Omer Rabbi Akiva Ashreichem Yisrael. Ashreichem, Ashreichem, Ashreichem Yisrael. Lifnei mi'at metar u'mi metar eschem avichem shebashamayim. V'omer mikvi Yisrael Hashem. Every single day of our lives. Rabbi Akiva, every day of our lives shows us how much he loves us. The klal gadol of his entire life, a life of Yahat L'Racha Kamaycha, the klal gadol of his entire life was his love for us, for every Jew. That's every day of the year. But on Lag BaOmer, when it comes to Lag BaOmer, Rabbi Akiva can't control himself. And the scream comes out, Ashreichem Yisrael. It comes from that mission, from those words. Ashreichem Yisrael. The Simcha of Rabbi Akiva. Ashreichem Yisrael, that he can't hold himself back. We need to understand the Simcha of Rabbi Akiva on this day. And the great Ratzon that the Tana has, that Rabbi Akiva has to be Mesameach us on the Hilula of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. There's a remarkable brisa in Yevamis, on Kuf Chaf Aleph in Yevamis, that tzaddikim are tumbling about this Gemara. Tanya, Omeram Gamliel. Pam achas ha'yisi mahalach b'svina. Gamliel says, I was once on a boat. Mahalach B'Svina was traveling on a boat. While I was traveling in this boat, I saw another boat. A Svina Achas, but the other boat was Nishbara. Was breaking, was falling apart. And Rabbi Gamliel says, I was upset, but in particular because there was a Talmud Chacham on that boat. Uman Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was on that boat. What was going to be with Rabbi Akiva? But miraculously, the Brisa continues, Rabbi Gamliel says that when I was able to reach dry land, Rabbi Akiva showed up. He was on a boat that was falling apart, that was about to sink. And he shows up. And not only does he show up, he comes to talk and learning. To talk to me in halacha. So Rabbi Gamliel's son is spoiled. So he couldn't right away enter into a conversation and learning. I asked my child, How did you survive? Who took you out? Who lifted you up? Who saved your life? Amali dav shel svinin is damanli. Rabbi Kiva said, dav shel svinin is damanli. A beam, a piece of a wood, a board of some boat came my way, nizdamanli. V'chol gal v'gal shebo alai, and every wave that came upon me, each and every wave that came upon me, I was holding on to this dav shel svina. Nenesi loy roishi, and I nodded my head to each of the waves that came upon me. It's so obvious that there's something earth-shattering that's taking place in this Gemara that happened at that time. That was to determine the future of all of Am Yisrael to this day. And that somehow Rabbi Kiva screamed, Ashreichem Yisrael, comes from that day of the shipwreck. Now we know in Chazal, there's a ha'ara I saw from the Belzer Aish Carlo. This ha'ara, the beginning of this ha'ara, he points out that we see in Chazal in a number of places, in Bava Basra, Tzadik Aleph, and other places, that a tzaddik, a manig Yisrael, is called Kabinit Shel Svina, the captain of a boat. The Gemara in Bava Basra says that on the day that Avram Avinu was mastalik, on the day that Avram Avinu died, the Gedolei Umas Ha'olam, the leaders of the nations of the world, were all crying. The Silukim Ata, and they came to be maspid. They came to cry over Avram Avinu. And the lashon that they used, that Hashem put into their mouths, was Oy loy la'olam she'avad maniga. Oy, for the world that has lost its leader. V'oyla l'svina she'avad kabernita. And Oyla, what's going to be the boat? The ship has lost its captain. Because all of this world, life in this world is a life of Mayim, Rabim, Adir, Mishbrei, the life of the 6 days of the week, of the 6,000 years. The pounding waves of the ocean and the storms of Yalu, Shamayim, Yerdu, Sahaymais. When we come to Shabbos Kodesh, we say in Hoidu, we don't know how we survived through another week of Yalu, Shamayim, Yerdu, Sahaymais, Mekarlos, Mayim, Rab, Adirim, Mishbrei, the Mayim Rabim of this world. And a person, each and every one of us, is trying to somehow make our way across in the Sfina Sachayim, in the boat of life of this world, and to somehow hear the instructions, the words, the chizit of the cabinet, of the captain, of the tzaddik, of the manik. And the tzaddik is trying desperately to navigate the boat, Belev Yamim, in the midst of the ocean of this world. To somehow to be misgabra on the Mishbrei Yam, on the waves, on the tidal waves, on the tsunami waves of life of this world that are seeking to destroy, to sink that ship. But Rabbi Gamliel was a Nasi. Rabbi Gamliel is Malchus. Everyone knows Rabbi Gamliel is Malchus. Rabbi Gamliel is an Einikl from David Malki Mashiach. Rabbi Gamliel is the Nasi. Rabbi Gamliel's life was a life that was, at least till the end, a life that was led on still waters. Rabbi Gamliel was the one who proclaimed, Kol Talmud she'ein toichei kevara lo yikonos lebeis hamedrash. Rabbi Gamliel said only those who are pure inside and out can enter into my Beis HaMedrash. The Beis HaMedrash of the Tzaddik, the Beis HaMedrash of the Nasi Hadar, the Beis HaMedrash of that world that is quiet, that is still, that's beautiful. But what about a Jew who has inside of him tidal waves, who has inside of him Mishbra Yom, a Jew of Yalu Shamayim Yerdu Sahoimais? So Rabbi Akiva was a Ben Geir. Rabbi Akiva's entire life was mamish, a sa'ara, a storm. Rabbi Akiva means Ikvasid Mashiach, the end of time. He was in the Shama from the end of time that Hashem Yisbarach sent into the world. He came from a place of imperfection and filth. His entire life was a life of Yalu Shamayim Yerdu Sahoimais. The whole story of the Gemara never tells us such a thing. The whole zivig of Rabbi Akiva with Rochel Bas Kalba Savu and what happened over there, and how he came to such a zivig, and who he was, and how he came to be. And finally, when it came to the time in his life of Yalu Shamayim, when Rabbi Akiva finally had reached such a place of Kedusha, Rabbi Akiva became the Kabbalit, the captain of the generation. Then he lost all 24,000 students. He went to 24,000 Levayos, 24,000 Kelmolas, 24,000 Kriyas, 24,000 Kadishim. And Kulam Meisu Beperik Echad, all that he was dreaming of, all that he worked for, all the Yalu Shamayim of his life, in 1 second, Yerdu Sahomis, in a few weeks, Yerdu Sahomis. A shipwreck. Mamish, everything was broken and destroyed. And the ocean that he had thought that finally had overcome the waves and he had come to a quiet place in his life. The Perik Echad. Suddenly everything was gone. Everything was destroyed. So Omer Rabbi Gamliel, Hamachas Hayisi Mahalach Besvin. Rabbi Gamliel was saying, I was living my life, I was traveling in my journey of Avodas Hashem as the Nasi, as the prince of the generation, as the Tzaddik Gomer. I was traveling along Hayisi Mahalach Besvin. Rabbi Gamliel was going to stand on a luxury liner, on a big, beautiful luxury liner. A strong, powerful boat. And while he's traveling along this world, making his announcements of Toichei Kevaro, the requirements, the entry requirements to be able to come into this medrash, a perfect Jew, Kol Talmud she'ein Toichei Kevaro lo yikonos lebeis hamedrash. So in his luxury liner traveling along this world, Rabbi Gamliel sees a svina, he sees a different boat, another boat. For he sees svina acha shenishbara. I saw a sebrachina boat. A boat that looked like it was going to sink. I saw the boat of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva's boat was described in Vayona, in the Sefer Yoina Hashem heitel ruach gedola al hayom. Hashem brought a great wind, a great storm upon the ocean. V'hisar gadol bayom, and there was a murdered big storm, a hurricane that came upon the ocean. V'ha'aniyah chishval hishav, and the boat seemed likely, it seemed that it was about to sink, to be destroyed. That was the boat of Rabbi Akiva in this world. And Rabbi Gamliel notices, he sees this boat of Rabbi Akiva's life, and what had become of Rabbi Akiva. V'hayisi mitzta'er. And Rabbi Gamliel says, V'hayisi mitzta'er, I was filled with anguish to see this. And I thought for sure that Rabbi Akiva was lost. I thought that Rabbi Akiva's life was ruined. I thought that this tzaddik Rabbi Akiva, the Ben Gerim, the one who went up and down and up and down, I thought that finally his time had come and he was finished. And Rabbi Gamliel can't believe it, that all of a sudden he sees, Rabbi Gamliel says that when I reached the dry land, Rabbi Akiva comes to talk to me and learn him. And Rabbi Gamliel can't believe it, that this Jew that's called Akiva, that means the Jew of the end of time, the Jew of Ikvus Mashiach, the Jew of Tavshin Ayin Gimel of 2013, the Jew of the Akiv, of the heel, of the bottom, of the lowest, the Jew who one day is flying mamish in the highest places, screaming and davening, and he's learning, and he's taking on midas and shmiras habris and shmiras hainayim, yalu shamayim, and the next day is Yerdu Sahayim as a Jew of Ikvus the Mashiach. Nishbra Spinoza, whose boat has been shattered, has been broken. And Rabbi Gamliel can't believe it. Here the storm of life has shattered, has broken the boat of that Jew of Akiva, of Akiv, of Ikvus the Mashiach, and that somehow this Jew is able to get up from that storm, from that shipwreck of his life. He's able to get up from that shipwreck of his life, and here he is the next day, a kumt nachamol, davening. He's back in shul. You know, there's a din in the Gemara of when to make a bracha. You see somebody you haven't seen in a long time, Mechaya Mason. Now you can make brachas like this from one day to the next, Mechaya Mason. Where there are Jews that you see that you don't understand how it's possible that this person pulled themselves together. One clap and another clap and another clap. In Gashmis and the Ruchnias. A one wave and another wave and another wave. And Rabbi Gamliel sees that this Akiva, this Akiv, this Jew of the end of time is back in Misamadrish. He's back. He's asking me. He's sitting before me. He's coming to say, Rabbi, let's learn. I met a Yid whose wife and children were all killed by terrorists. The whole mishpach, everything was destroyed, finished. Gamaynu, nothing. V'yoshiv edon lefonai b'halocha. Amartina, Rabbi Gamliel says to this Akiva, B'ni mi he'olcha. My son, how did you do that? I never saw such a thing. I don't understand such a thing. For my luxury liner, I don't know how it could be such a thing. B'ni mi he'olcha, who lifted you up? Who threw you the life preserver? Who saved your life? How did you stay a Jew at the end of time? Who gave you the koyach to continue? To build again after the storm came and took away everything from you? After the boat, after the sfina of your life has been destroyed, who gave you your life back? Who gave you the koyachas to come back? How is it that you were not misyayish b'yevein mitzula? That you didn't sink in the filth of Tavshin Ayin Gimel? Omar Rabbi Kiva says, Dav shel svinin is damen li. A plank of a boat came my way. Hashem sent my way a plank of a boat. Dav shel svinin is damen. The tzaddikim say that the Dav shel svina, the plank of the boat, is that student, Echad, Yochid, and Miyuchad. After all 24,000 were killed, there was one that Hashem preserved, He saved, who saved my life, and who's going to save the lives of all of Am Yisrael that will be able to survive as a people to greet Mashiach Tzidkeinu. V'amatem koil achai Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. The Dav shel Svina. Svina, Rabbi Nachman talks about the Moran of the Tzaddikim. Svina is a lashon of svuna. Svuna means, sefuna means what is hidden. Sofun, choshuv, and hidden. Precious, deep, and hidden. And Rabbi Kiva says, there's a point inside of me. The Nekuda HaSvuna. The pneumius of who I am. That I gave over the pneumius of who I am to this Jew, to Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Dav shel svinin is damen, that Hashem Yisbarach brought me in the midst of the storm of my life. B'leiv yam, b'mitzulos yam. When I thought that everything is lost, not just for me, for Akiva. When I thought there was no hope to build Torah again. When I felt there was no hope as I saw what's going to be. I saw the waves that were coming. And I didn't know how is it possible that there are going to be Jews that are going to remain ma'aminim all the way till the end of time. That there's going to be a Jew left to greet Mashiach Tzidkeinu. What's going to be with the Mayim as they doinim that are going to come upon us be'ikvis the Mashiach. And Hashem Yisbarach sent a Dav shel Svina, a plank that I held on to. A lifesaver to rescue every Jew until Mashiach comes, whether he knows about this or he doesn't know about it. And then Rabbi Kiva says, V'chol gal v'gal shebo alai nenesi lo roishi. And holding on to Rabbi Shimon, Kol gal v'gal shebo alai, each and every wave that came upon me. Now neisi leiroshi, I would lean over and nod my head. And again in Sefer Yoina, Yoina says, Karosi mitzara li. Rebbeinu Shalom, I called to you from the terrible tzara of my life. Mitzara li el Hashem v'yanein, and you answered me. Mi beten sh'ol shivati. From the belly of the darkest place of Gehenna, of the lowest place of Yerdus Ahamites, I screamed out to you in Shamata Koili, and you heard my voice. Vatashlicheni mitzula b'levav yamim. Rebbeinu Shalom, you sent me deep, deep into the heart of the ocean of the sea. When the Har Yisayvaveni and the floods surrounded me, Kol mishbarecha v'galecha alai avaru. Every single wave came upon me to destroy me, to drown me. Every kol gal v'gal, Rabbi Kiva says, like the Gemara tells us, that Rabbi Kiva was learning tilei tilim shalachs from every kais, every thorn, every each letter of the letters of the Sefer Torah. Each and every gal in my life, each and every gal in the life of a Jew of Akiv, of Ikvis and the Mashiach, that's us. Every wave, every gal of filth, every wave that's a wave on in the technology of Tashin Ayin Gimel, of filth, of tumah, of emptiness, of sadness, of anxiety, of depression, of kol machla, shlo samti b'Mitzrayim. Kol mishbarecha v'gelecha mamish. The generation that of the children and the grandchildren of Jews of the Holocaust. V'chol gal v'gal shabo alai nenesi l'roishi. Each and every gal that came upon me, I held on to the dav shel svina. I held on to Rabbi Shimon. I held on to the soy, to the deepest secrets that Rabbi Shimon was Megala, the soy of Kodesh Kadoshim that's inside of me, of the Jew of Eger of Ikvus the Mashiach. And Kol Gal V'Gal, this Rambam say, Kal, of course, Gal is the letters Lamed Gimel. And Kol Gal V'Gal, Rabbi Akiva was saying that each and every lag ba'omer, Kol Gal V'Gal, Kol lag V'Lag, each and every lag ba'omer, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Akiva says, I'm filled with gewaltige simcha and shemayim. Omer Rabbi Akiva, Ashreichem Yisrael, I'm filled with simcha. And I bow my head and I bend over in moedim to give thanks to the Bari Olam, Nanesi Loi Kol Gal V'Gal, each and every lag ba'omer again. Rabbi Akiva says, I bow down and I nod my head to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he was mazminly the dav shel svina Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Ne'nesi l'roish, to give thanks to the Bari Olam. From there comes the Omer Rabbi Akiva, Ashreichem Yisrael, lifnei mi atem etarim, umi metar eschem. That instead of the generation of our parents, of our grandparents, and our generation drowning in the blood that was spilled by our enemies, and drowning in the filthy, murky waters of after the Holocaust, of these years before Mashiach comes. That instead mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Lifnei mi atem etarem, umi metar eschem. Whoever touches Rabbi Shimon, who's ever touched by Pnimis HaTorah, whoever is zoiche to put his little finger on the dav shel svina is a different person. Even though it could be that the night before it was Yedu Sahimis, he was in the filth and he was drowning. But the next day he's able to mechazik himself. And Yadu Shemayim, Lochamal. No matter how many Kol Gal V'Gal, Kol Galecha, Mishberach Alai, Avar, whatever it is. Is there any bigger Ashreichem Yisrael than that? So a person could say, V'im Toimer, what shaykhs do I have to Rabbi Shimon? But right now in Meron, there can I don't know how many, a million Jews that are there. So how many of the Jews that are there really have a shaykhs to learn, to understand? So Rabbi Shimon is like called Yochel Lifters Kol Olam Kuloi Miyom Shin Evreisi. Lifters Kol Olam Kuloi Min Hadin. What shaykhs do I have? Does a person have to the side of Rabbi Shimon? Who am I to think that I'm holding on to the dav shel svina, to the piece of Rabbi Shimon? I'm mamish in the heima. But the tzaddikim say, when it says in Tehillim, Adam uveheima teishia Hashem. Adam uveheima teishia Yudkei Vavkei is the gematria Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Adam uveheima teishia Hashem is the gematria Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Because Rabbi Shimon came to tell a Jew of Ekev, of Akiva, of Ikvus Mashiach, you think that you're a behemoth, and I'm telling you you're an Adam. And that, by the way, is a psak of Rabbi Shimon in Nigla. Rabbi Shimon in Nigla in Yevamos Samach Aleph. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Omer. Kivrei Oyrdik Echavim Einem Metamen Ba'oil. The kvarim, the graves of Goyim are not Metamei Ba'oil in a place. They're not Metamei. Shenemar, it says in Yechezkel, Va'atem soy marisi. Odom atem. The pasuk says, Odom atem. Only you, my Only you, my child, only a Jew, only Am Yisrael is called Adam. Only an Adam is Metame. Only an Adam has in him such Kedusha that when it's missing, there could be a problem. Adam Atem. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Paskins, Atem Kruyim Adam, Ve'ein Ha'odik Chom Kruyim Adam. Atem Kruyim Adam. So you might see yourself as a behemoth. We might see ourselves as behemoths. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Haid Shebahid, is able to see the Yid Shebiyid, a Jew inside of that shipwrecked Jew. A Jew inside the broken, shipwrecked Jew. And Rabbi Shimon is able to see Bar Yochai the Kodesh Kadoshim. The Kodesh HaKadoshim. Bar Yochai, Nase Odom, Nema Bavarecha. Nase Odom, Nema Bavarecha. Odom Atem. Odom of Ahema Tashia Hashem is the Gematria, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Every Jew, like Rabbi Shimon, every Jew was in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And Rabbi Shimon saw to the Kodesh, inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim of each and every Jew of the Akiva, of the Ikvish, of the Mashiach. That's the Dav Shel Svin. One of the big Talmidim of Hashem, the Shuas Chaim, Rabbi Gedai Linitz Eschus Yaleinu, in the Likutim that are at the end of the Sefer. He says a sentence, this is what he says. Kibalti miraboisai. Rabbi Gedai Linitz says, I received from my teachers. Shebchinas Mashiach. Who's Mashiach? How are we going to know who Mashiach is? Shebechinas Mashiach, Yeh b'yecholto lilmoid schus al kol Yisrael. Mashiach is going to have the ability to be melamed schus on every Jew. If there's any Rebbe or a Yeshiva or a Manig or Mashpia or a Rav, whatever it is, that can't be melamed schus on a Jew who looks like the biggest BaOmer, means he's Sicha not Mashiach. The Jewish saying has a Kabbalah that only Mashiach is such a person. And through that limus chus, that the tzaddik is malamed chus on even the lowest Jew, on the Jew of Yedu Sahaimais. That through that limus chus, Mashiach is able to be ma'oyer, the good in a person, the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Haid Shebahid of a Jew. You kulam tzaddikim. You kulam tzaddikim, and all of Am Yisrael are all going to be tzaddikim the way that we want to be, the way that we really can be, and we'll be tzaddikim forever. I told him Aish in Shula. I told it by also there was an asifa we had earlier, it was last year, and I told him Aish. Everybody heard of Reb Yitzchak Vorka, right? So Reb Yitzchak Vorka had a son, Reb Mendel Vorka. And Reb Mendel Vorka had a son, Reb Shimla. This Reb Shimla Skanovitz, and this tzaddik Reb Shimla was a murdik oiv Yisrael. And the Chlal the Habas HaMedrash of Vorka of Amshnov, that's the trademark of that Medrash is Ahavas Yisrael without end. Of Yitzchak Vorka. So there's a Jew that came from the town that came running into Reb Shimla. And he was crying, and he said that what happened that his daughter. Apparently the daughter had befriended, with a capital B, had befriended somebody who's not Jewish. It wasn't so unusual in those days either. And that his daughter ran away with this guy. And the father was, obviously the parents were heartbroken. And they had tried earlier to stop this from happening. And they found out that the father came to tell Reb Shimla that the daughter was taken by the guy to his church to a place, a monastery, a big place of a Zara that she was taken to by her boyfriend, and that she on Sunday they're going to have their conversion. And Reb Shimela asked, where is this place? And the father said, it's not wherever it was. So Reb Shimela said to his Shamas, come, we're going to go to the church. We're going to go there to the Avazar to try to see what we could do. So Reb Shimela went with the Shamas, and they came there to this city where there was a church. Bechlal was a sakana to stand over there, for the tzaddik to be over there with the Shamas. And Reb Shimela was waiting that a galach should come out from the church, a priest. And Reb Shimela gave the galach, the priest, when a galach came walking there, Reb Shimela went over to him and he gave him some money. And he gave him a kvittel, a little piece of paper. He says, give it to that, here I'm paying you, give it to that girl. And on the kvittel he wrote, Aish of Skranovitz, the son of Reb Mendel Vurka, the grandson of Reb Yitzchak Vurka. I'm waiting for you on the corner. And here, Reb Shimela Skranovitz didn't leave that place. He stayed there with his tefillin, with his talis and tefillin. He davened in that place, and he stayed on the corner of the street of the church for 3 days. He didn't go anywhere. He didn't move from that place. The shamas, he closed his eyes a little bit. He closed his eyes. He stayed in that place for 3 days. And it was after that, the third night, the third night, in the middle of the night, all of a sudden, a woman comes covered with a whole blanket, comes running out from the church. And she says, Rebbe, Heilige Rebbe. And the Rebbe says, you, whatever, Rachel. And they go with the shamas and life, they run. And they keep on running. And finally, when they're already far away from that city, they're catching their breaths, and the Rebbe Reb Shimela asks Rachel, what happened? Why did you come out? Why did you leave your boyfriend? Why did you leave the church? Why did you leave them? And she began to cry, and she says, Rabbi, how could I not come out? I knew that you would never ever leave that place. I knew that you would wait for me forever. I knew you would be waiting for me. But the BaOmer sent into the world a Dav Shel Svina to us at the end of time, who's waiting for us so long, so many years, that any time that you and I, we remember and we run out of that tumah of our lives, we run out and we somehow manage to swim to the shore holding on, and we know that Rabbi Shimon, you're waiting for us, that you'll never leave us, and we're holding on to you. We're holding on to you until that day where it says in Posik, Yokeim Sa'ar L'Dmama, where the storm will finally be quiet, it will quiet down. V'yachishu Galeim, and the waves will be silent. V'yismuchu ki yishtoiku, and everything will be quiet. V'yanchem el mechoyis cheftzom, and the waves will take us together with all of Am Yisrael, our parents, our grandparents, all generations. V'yanchem el mechoyis cheftzom will bring us back to Yerushalayim, and in that place, Yodul Hashem Chazdoi, in the Floisel of Nei Adam. Yodel Hashem Chazdoi, and if Loisel Livnei Adam to the Adam that Rabbi Shimon believed in. We should be Zaychim et Hashem. There should be no more waves of destruction. There should be beautiful, delicious, sweet waves that will lift each and every one of us together with Am Yisrael, and we'll find ourselves sitting somehow miraculously in front of Mashiach Zakenu, and Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Kiva, all the Tanoim, the Tzaddikim will be smiling and looking at us and will say to us, Ashreichem, you know who you are. You had the biggest galim, the Bishop Rayon. There were no bigger waves in all of history. And you survived, you're Jews, you davened, you learned, you tried to keep mitzvahs, you put on tefillin, you lit Shabbos candles, you tried to be better. Ashreichem, lifne mi atem etam, o mi metar eschem, mit the gula Hashem v'amitis, b'mheir yameinu amen v'amen.